Assigned to the alien vampire woman. She wanted more than my blood. First Contact Elias Mercer straightened his collar as the transport shuttle docked with Space Station Harmony. After 3 years guarding Earth diplomats, this assignment to the Interspecies Cultural Exchange Program felt like a demotion. Yet here he was, about to meet his new assignment, an alien from a world he'd only read about in briefings. Officer Mercer. Director Kazan's voice crackled through his earpiece. Our guest has arrived early. Report to Observation Deck C. Elias quickened his pace through the gleaming corridors of the station. The ICE program paired humans with non-terrestrial beings to foster understanding between worlds. His job was simple: protect, guide, and ensure no interspecies incidents occurred. The observation deck doors slid open, revealing a breathtaking vista of stars and her. She stood with her back to him, gazing at the cosmos. Tall and slender, her skin a soft lavender that seemed to shimmer under the starlight. When she turned, Elias froze. Her eyes were mesmerizing pools of silver that caught the light like liquid mercury. You must be my liaison, she said, her voice melodic with an accent he couldn't place. I am Lyra Vax of Nix, Elias Mercer, ma'am. Earth Security Division. He extended his hand, remembering too late that physical contact protocols varied widely among species. To his surprise, she took his hand. Her touch was cool but not cold, her skin softer than he expected. Your heart rate has increased, Officer Mercer, Lyra observed, releasing his hand. Does my appearance disturb you? No, ma'am, just adapting. Director Kazan bustled in, tablet in hand. Ah, excellent. You've met. Officer Mercer, Ambassador Vax represents the Nixian Collective. Their world exists in perpetual twilight, and their people have unique biological requirements. Lyra's silver eyes flashed briefly. What the director means is that my species consumes energy rather than matter. In ancient times, we absorbed life force directly. Now we utilize synthesized substitutes. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. The briefing had mentioned this. The Nixians were energy vampires, legendary throughout the galaxy. Stories claimed they could drain a human's life in minutes if they wished. Officer Mercer will show you to your quarters, Kazan said. Tomorrow, you'll begin cultural orientation. As they walked the corridors, Elias noticed how other station personnel gave them a wide berth. Lyra seemed unbothered, her movements fluid and graceful. They fear me, she said, without looking at him. As do you. I don't fear you. Your pulse says otherwise. A hint of a smile touched her purple lips. It's natural. Prey recognizes predator across all worlds. They reached her quarters, a specially designed chamber that mimicked the twilight atmosphere of Nix. Will there be anything else you need, Ambassador? Elias asked professionally. Lyra regarded him with those unsettling silver eyes. Just one thing, Officer Mercer. Honesty. If we are to work together, I need that above all else. As the door closed between them, Elias released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Something told him this assignment would change everything. He just didn't know how much. Beneath the surface. 3 weeks into his assignment, Elias found himself growing accustomed to Lyra's presence. Their daily routine included cultural briefings, diplomatic meetings, and tours of the station. He'd learned to read her subtle expressions, the slight tilt of her head when curious, the barely perceptible narrowing of her silver eyes when annoyed. Tell me about Earth sunsets, Lyra asked as they walked through the hydroponics garden. On Nix, our twin moons create perpetual twilight, never true darkness or brightness. Elias described the oranges and pinks of a Pacific sunset, surprised by his own enthusiasm. It's like the sky is on fire, but in the most beautiful way. Fire without destruction, Lyra mused. A lovely contradiction. An alarm suddenly blared throughout the station. Red emergency lights bathed the corridor. Attention all personnel, the AI system announced. Containment breach in Section 7. Gravitational fluctuations detected. All personnel evacuate to designated safety zones. Elias grabbed Lyra's arm. We need to move. Now. They rushed toward the nearest evacuation point when a violent tremor shook the station. The deck plating beneath them buckled. Elias pushed Lyra forward just as a support beam crashed down, pinning him to the floor. "Elias!" Lyra knelt beside him, her silver eyes wide. Pain seared through his leg. "I'm trapped. You need to evacuate. I will not leave you." Her voice was firm. The lights flickered and died, plunging them into darkness broken only by emergency beacons. Elias felt the air growing thin. "The life support systems must be failing. Lyra, please go." "I'll be fine." He wouldn't be, and they both knew it. In the dim red light, Lyra's expression changed. Her silver eyes began to glow with an inner light, illuminating her purple features. "I can help you, but you must trust me," she whispered. "What I'm about to do, it creates a connection. You will see things, my memories, my thoughts." Elias nodded weakly, his vision beginning to blur from pain and oxygen deprivation. Lyra placed her hands on either side of his face. Her touch sent an immediate wave of coolness through his burning skin. Then she leaned down, her lips nearly touching his. "Breathe with me," she whispered. A soft purple luminescence passed from her mouth to his. It wasn't a kiss, it was something more intimate, more profound. Energy flowed between them, and suddenly Elias wasn't in the damaged corridor anymore. He stood on a twilight world, feeling ancient hunger, centuries of loneliness. He experienced the memory of stars being born and dying, felt the weight of outliving everyone she'd ever cared for. He saw glimpses of a society that thrived in perpetual dusk, beings of energy and matter intertwined. And beneath it all, a desperate longing for connection that transcended physical form. When Elias gasped back to consciousness, the beam had been moved. Lyra knelt beside him, her normally perfect appearance disheveled, her silver eyes dimmed. "What did you do?" he whispered. "I shared my life force. Used it to give you strength and move the obstruction." She looked away. "Now you know what I am." Elias reached for her hand. In that moment, the fear that had lingered since their first meeting vanished completely. What replaced it was something he wasn't ready to name. "Thank you," he said simply. Emergency responders found them moments later. As they were separated for medical treatment, Elias couldn't shake the lingering sensation of her thoughts intertwined with his, and the realization that her hunger wasn't for his life force at all. It was for something far more dangerous. Understanding, acceptance, perhaps even love. Hidden truths. "Your vital signs are remarkable," Dr. Chen said, reviewing Elias's medical scans. "For someone who had a structural beam crushing his leg 24 hours ago, you're healing at an accelerated rate." Elias avoided the doctor's questioning gaze. He couldn't explain what had happened between him and Lyra without violating several interspecies protocols. The connection they'd shared had left something behind, a warmth that pulsed just beneath his skin, healing him from within. "Ambassador Vax has been asking about you," Chen added. "Quite insistently. Is she all right?" Elias asked, suddenly concerned. "She used a lot of energy helping me. She declined examination. Typical Nixian privacy." Chen signed his release form. "You're clear for light duty." Elias found Lyra in her quarters, the lighting dimmed to the dusky purple of her homeworld. She stood when he entered, her silver eyes scanning him with obvious relief. "You're walking," she observed. "Thanks to you." He stepped closer. "Lyra, what happened between us was inappropriate," she finished. "I should never have formed a connection without proper preparation. You weren't ready to see all of me, but I'm glad I did." The words surprised even him. "I felt your loneliness, your hunger for something beyond sustenance." Lyra turned away. "What you sensed was private. You saved my life, and risked exposing centuries of careful diplomacy." She faced him again. "My people have spent generations proving we're not the monsters of legend, that we can coexist without feeding on sentient energy. What I did with you was intimate in ways your species might not understand." Before Elias could respond, his communications device chimed. "A message from Director Kazan. Unauthorized transmissions detected from diplomatic quarter. Investigation required. Discreet." Elias showed Lyra the message. "Someone's leaking information." "The station accident wasn't an accident," Lyra said, her voice hardening. "Too many system failures simultaneously. It was deliberate." Their investigation led them to hidden communication logs, encrypted messages between someone on the station and a shadowy organization called Purity Front, a group dedicated to ending alien-human cooperation. Late that night, analyzing data in Lyra's quarters, Elias fought exhaustion. When he dozed off over the console, he woke to find Lyra watching him, her expression tender in the twilight dimness. "You need rest," she said softly. "So do you. My people require little sleep." She hesitated. "The connection we shared, it lingers. I can sense your fatigue." Elias took her hand, noticing how she no longer felt cool to the touch. "Their temperatures had somehow equalized. What happens if we deepen the connection?" he asked. Lyra's silver eyes widened. "It would be significant. For my people, sharing energy is more intimate than physical coupling. And if I want both—" The words escaped before he could stop them. She moved closer, her lavender skin seeming to glow from within. "Then we cross a line that cannot be uncrossed." Their lips met, and this time it was a kiss, but also so much more. Energy flowed between them, memories and desires intertwining. Elias felt her ancient soul reaching for his, her loneliness meeting his isolation. As clothing gave way to touch, Elias discovered that beneath her alien exterior, Lyra's form echoed his own in all the ways that mattered. Her purple skin shimmered beneath his fingertips, warm and alive. Their bodies moved together in the twilight dimness, the energy between them building into something transcendent. Afterward, lying together in the artificial dusk, Elias traced patterns on her lavender skin. "The conspiracy goes deeper than we thought," he murmured. "Someone high in command must be involved." Lyra nodded against his chest. "And when they discover what we've uncovered, and what we've become to each other, both our worlds will have reason to tear us apart." Worlds apart. Whispers followed them through the station corridors. 2 weeks had passed since their night together, and though they maintained professional appearances, something had fundamentally changed between them. The connection they shared had deepened, allowing them to sense each other's emotions across distances, a phenomenon neither fully understood, but both privately cherished. "Ambassador Vax, a transmission from the Nixian Collective," a communications officer announced as they entered the command center. "Priority Alpha." Lyra's posture stiffened imperceptibly, but Elias felt her sudden apprehension through their bond. "I'll take it privately." Later, in the security of her quarters, she revealed the message's contents. "The Collective Council is concerned about my extended stay. They've received reports about our closeness." "How could they know?" Elias asked, pacing the twilight room. "My kind can sense energy patterns. Any Nixian who's observed us together would recognize the harmonic resonance between our auras." Lyra's silver eyes dimmed. "They're ordering me to return home immediately." Elias felt his heart constrict. "Because of me? Or because of what we've discovered about the Purity Front?" "Both. Interspecies bonding at our level is—" She hesitated, unprecedented. "And our investigation threatens powerful interests. The evidence we've gathered implicates Commander Wells. Wells, the station's second-in-command. Their investigation had traced encrypted messages to his quarters, revealing his connection to the anti-alien extremist group. The station accident had been meant to sabotage the diplomatic mission, with more attacks planned. "We need to present our findings to Director Kazan before Wells realizes we know," Elias said. "Then deal with your council's concerns." Lyra touched his face gently. "Elias, you don't understand. In the eyes of my people, I've broken our most sacred law. Energy bonding is reserved for our own kind. What we've shared is considered contamination." The word struck him like a physical blow. "So what we have is just pollution to them?" "To them, yes. Not to me," her purple fingers intertwined with his. "What we share is beautiful but dangerous. If the bond continues to strengthen, we'll become increasingly dependent on each other's energy patterns. Already I can feel your emotions, sense your presence even through walls. I don't want to lose that," Elias whispered. "I don't want to lose you." Their embrace was interrupted by an urgent alert on Elias's security channel. Wells was calling an emergency command meeting, citing a security breach involving Ambassador Vax. "He knows," Lyra said, her silver eyes wide. "We must act now." They rushed to Director Kazan's office, only to find it empty. The station's internal sensors showed Wells and an armed security team heading toward the diplomatic quarters, toward them. "We're out of time," Elias said, downloading their evidence to a secure drive. "We need to get you to the emergency shuttle bay." As they navigated maintenance tunnels to avoid detection, Lyra suddenly stumbled, clutching her chest. "What's wrong?" Elias caught her, feeling a strange emptiness echo through their bond. "Energy-dampening field," she gasped. "They're using technology designed to weaken my kind. They must have developed it secretly." Elias helped her forward, feeling his own strength diminishing where their energies were connected. "Hold on, I've got you." They reached the shuttle bay just as Wells's security team burst through the main doors. Trapped between closing blast doors and approaching guards, they shared one desperate look. "I won't leave you," Lyra said fiercely. "And I won't let them take you." Elias made a split-second decision. Instead of pushing her toward the escape shuttle, he pulled her into a maintenance shaft. "There's another way out." As sirens blared and the station locked down, Elias led her toward the one place Wells wouldn't expect, the station's energy core. If they could transmit their evidence from there, the dampening field wouldn't matter. The core's radiation would mask Lyra's energy signature. In the pulsing heart of the station, surrounded by columns of pure energy, Elias connected the drive to the main communication array. Lyra stood in the glow of the energy field, her purple skin absorbing the ambient radiation, growing stronger. "It's done," Elias said, as the transmission completed. "The evidence is being broadcast to both Earth Security Command and the Nixian Collective." "Wells can't stop it now." Lyra moved toward him, her silver eyes bright again. "Elias, what happens now changes everything." "Are you certain this is what you want?" He pulled her close. "I've never been more certain of anything." Their kiss deepened as the station alarms continued to wail around them, neither aware that both their worlds were about to be irrevocably altered by their choice. Twilight's embrace. The inquiry lasted 12 days. Representatives from Earth Security Command and the Nixian Collective converged on Space Station Harmony, transforming the diplomatic outpost into a tribunal chamber. Commander Wells and his Purity Front collaborators were detained, the evidence against them irrefutable. But for Elias and Lyra, the investigation focused on something far more personal. "The nature of your connection violates 3 sections of the interspecies contact protocols," Admiral Hartman stated, her expression stern as she addressed them across the conference table. "Ambassador Vax, your collective describes this bond as dangerous and unpredictable." Beside Elias, Lyra sat perfectly composed, her lavender hands folded on the table. "The bond is neither. It is simply unprecedented." The Nixian elder, a tall figure with deep violet skin and ancient silver eyes, spoke in their melodic language. The translator conveyed his words. "Our histories contain warnings about such unions. The energy patterns become dependent, like addiction. Should one partner die, the other follows. This is why such bonds are forbidden." "With respect," Elias interjected, "what we've discovered goes beyond personal risk. The connection between our species reveals possibilities never explored. The healing properties alone could revolutionize medicine." Admiral Hartman leaned forward. "Officer Mercer, scans show your cellular structure has been altered. You're exhibiting energy absorption capabilities similar to the Nixian physiology. Do you understand what that means?" "It means I'm changing," Elias said simply. "And I welcome it." Lyra's emotion flowed through their bond. Pride, worry, love. He sent reassurance back, a gentle pulse of energy that had become as natural as breathing. Later, alone in the observation deck where they'd first met, they watched the stars together. "The Council has recalled me to Nix," Lyra said softly. "They wish to study our bond under controlled conditions." "Study? You mean separate and dissect?" Elias took her hand. "I won't let that happen. And Earth Security wants you in quarantine for observation. Neither of us has much choice." Her silver eyes reflected the distant stars. Unless we choose each other," Elias finished. "Leave it all behind," the plan formed quickly. With the station still in administrative chaos following Wells's arrest, security protocols were vulnerable. They requisitioned a long-range shuttle under diplomatic codes, programmed a course for the uncharted regions beyond Alliance space. As the departure countdown began, Lyra placed her hands on either side of Elias's face, initiating the deepest connection they'd shared yet. This time, he saw not just her past, but glimpses of possible futures, worlds where beings like them existed in harmony, twilight planets where the boundaries between species blurred into something new and beautiful. "If we leave, we can never return," she whispered against his lips. "Not to Earth, not to Nyx. We will be alone." "No," Elias said, drawing her closer. "We'll be together." The shuttle broke free from the station, accelerating toward the outer systems. On the communication screen, urgent messages flashed from both their governments, commands to return, threats of consequences. Lyra's purple skin glowed softly in the cockpit's dim light as she disabled the tracking systems. "Where shall we go?" Elias pointed toward a distant star cluster. "There, the Twilight Nebula. Hundreds of unexplored worlds. We'll find one where the light is just right for both of us." As they engaged the jump drive, Elias felt their energies synchronize completely, the boundary between them becoming permeable. Her thoughts flowed into his, ancient wisdom, cosmic perspective, and overwhelming love. His humanity flowed into her, passion, determination, and unwavering hope. The shuttle vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind two worlds that had never truly understood either of them. Ahead lay uncertainty, danger, and freedom. But in the space between stars, in the twilight realm they created together, they had found something neither civilization could offer: acceptance without condition, love without boundary, and a future limited only by the vastness of the cosmos itself. Years later, rumors would spread throughout the alliance of a small colony on a twilight world, where humans and Nyxians lived together in harmony, where children with purple skin and eyes that sometimes flashed silver played beneath eternal dusk, where two pioneers had proven that even the most different beings could not only coexist, but create something entirely new, a civilization balanced perfectly between light and darkness, between matter and energy, between two species that had once feared each other but now thrived together in the gentle glow of an endless twilight.